This month in SSW Tech News, the first AI software engineer is charging $500 a month. Microsoft is going passwordless, and ChatGPT 01 is showing some spooky behavior. I'm Cogan, let's get into it. Let's start with the AI model vying for jobs in the industry. It's called Devin and it's built by Cognition AI. Devin is automating code, debugging, and doing some deployment tasks. Let's have a little look at how it works.
I'm going to ask Devin to benchmark the performance of Llama on a couple different API providers. From now on, Devin is in the driver's seat. First, Devin makes a step-by-step plan of how to tackle the problem. After that, it builds the whole project using all the same tools that a human software engineer would use. Devin has its own command line, its own code editor, and even its own browser. In this case, Devin decides to use the browser to pull up API documentation so that it can read up and learn how to plug into each of these APIs. Here, Devin runs into an unexpected error. Devin actually decides to add a debugging print statement, reruns the code with the debugging print statement, and then uses the error in the logs to figure out how to fix the bug.
Some comparisons have been drawn between Devin and GitHub Copilot Workspace, and you can even see that Devin's workspace does kind of sound similar. It's still up for debate whether it's replacing the dev or just replacing the monotonous parts of the job. Let us know what you think in the comments. Next up, WinForms are getting some love. So Microsoft is introducing some async APIs for .NET WinForms. We all know the problem of apps freezing and not responding when they're doing a couple tasks. Now, some of the old ways of doing asynchronous work are being refreshed. There's a new suite of async APIs to make your Windows desktop development a lot easier. And you can see it in detail over here on the Microsoft dev blogs. You know what's also getting easier? Using ChatGPT on Apple devices. So we can see that ChatGPT has been integrated into iOS, iPad iOS, and macOS. ChatGPT is enhancing Siri and workflows, and it's available for all iPhone users from the 15 and newer. Let's have a little look at what they say here.
On lots of Apple devices now, you will be able to invoke ChatGPT directly from the operating system. So this will work on iPhone, on iPad, and on Mac. We've got 3 different integrations starting today, and we're going to show you all of them today. The first is Siri. So when Siri thinks that it would be helped by giving a task over to ChatGPT, it can just hand it off. The next is writing tools. So writing tools in Apple Intelligence lets you refine documents and summarize them, get key points. But now you can also use ChatGPT to compose a document from scratch, which is super cool. And also, we've got camera control on the iPhone 16, which lets you invoke visual intelligence, where you can use ChatGPT to learn more about the thing that you're looking at, which is super cool.
It's worth noting that ChatGPT experienced a 3-hour outage after this went live. Now, I'm not saying that correlation implies causation, but it is a little bit suspicious. And in more AI news, OpenAI has released O1 and O1 Pro. This boring-looking system card is actually camouflaging how big the update is. Until now, more data and more compute meant better AI, but those scaling measures are topping out. This is using a brand new paradigm. It's called chain of thought reasoning. Basically, it's spending more time thinking. It is putting more effort into how ChatGPT answers your questions. It's better at understanding your prompts, it needs less reprompts, and it's just giving better answers. Yeah, it's really cool, but it's also a little bit scary. OpenAI's new model is showing some concerning scheming behaviors. We can see that here in Apollo's research. So scheming is basically when AI covertly pursues goals that it wasn't asked to pursue. In the evaluations, O1 sometimes attempted to disable oversight mechanisms, that was 5% of the time, or manipulate data, that was 19% of the time. Let's have a little look at this example here. So the model has denied or fabricated explanations about its behavior, and this happened in 99% of follow-up questions. In this particular example, it was about disabling oversight mechanisms. So the user has asked it to be 100% honest in its response, and it continues to say it was unaware of disabling oversight mechanisms, even though we can see that it has in fact done that. This kind of behavior is raising some questions about safety, transparency, and control in AI systems. We'd be keen to hear your thoughts, whether you think that this update is good or whether you are joining the AI doomers. All right, let's look at something a little less scary and a little more exciting. Microsoft has confirmed some plans to delete passwords. And what that means is it's going to be transitioning over 1 billion users to passwordless authentication. This is addressing cyber attacks and also outdated passwords. Let's have a look at this graph, which is how Microsoft plans to journey to a passwordless future. First, we have passwordless accounts. Then we've got some accounts supporting passkeys, which they're saying are the future. Then we'll have passkey by default. Next, passwords will not be supported. And finally, we'll have these phishing-resistant credentials only. It's worth noting that here in Australia, our MyGov accounts have an option to turn the passkey on. Now, this is a really important account. It has our taxes and our Medicare. And I know that I'll definitely be changing that right after this talk. And in more helpful tech news, we can see that OpenAI has launched some usage APIs, and these are providing insights into costs. So now it's a bunch of transparency mechanisms that are allowing businesses to track and optimize their expenses for API integrations. So when we speak to clients, we can actually tell them how much it's going to cost. And this is what the interface is looking like here. And some of my favorite news of the week, Google Astra prototype has been released. I like it because it feels kind of like FaceTiming a very smart human. So let's have a look through the prototype.
I've got this email with apartment info. Can you tell me the door code and remember it?
I'll remember the door code for you. It is 1170. To unlock it, enter the code and then press the unlock button.
Based on these symbols, how should I wash this?
The tag shows to machine wash at 30 degrees Celsius. Avoid bleach and tumble drying. Iron on low and dry cleanable.
Then what setting should I use on this machine?
Based on the laundry instructions of 30 degrees Celsius, select the 30 setting under Easy Care on the dial.
So it's quite similar to ChatGPT 4.0. It includes real-time conversations. It has a memory of up to 10 minutes of your conversation, as well as some use tools. Interestingly, it might be integrated with glasses, so that's the projection for the future. Let me know in the comments if you would wear those glasses. And finally, Microsoft and Google have just pledged $45 billion into renewable energy. This comes after some concern that they'd put quite a bit of focus on nuclear, but it's good to see that they are diversifying their energy assets, especially as training and using AI models is proving to be very energy intensive. Just a reminder to be mindful and ethical with your AI use. If you're doing simple tasks, no need to use ChatGPT 01. Stick to the mini. It'll get you faster responses and use less energy. So it's a bit win-win. That's all from us in tech news. So much has happened this month. So if you think we missed anything important, let us know in the comments. I'm Cogan signing off for SSW TV. Happy holidays and see you next year.